Hello, everyone. It's me again, Steve Molk, and I'm back with another edition of the TV Binge Box. Whew! What a week. What a week it has been. Amazing, good, excellent. Queensland won the first State of Origin game. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Before we start tonight, though, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm recording this, coming live to you from the land of the Dark and Jung mob on the central coast of New South Wales. And I would like to pay my respects to their leaders, past and present, and acknowledge their emerging leaders, that we should be working with them to build and reconcile and develop a mutually beneficial community that comes from learning from a nation, a number of nations that have looked after this country for hundreds of thousands of years. Sovereignty was never ceded. We live on stolen land. This always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Friends, TV Binge Box is back. Thank you for all of your great comments last week. Thank you for everything that you threw at us. And thank you also for putting up with the fact that this is not Tuesday night. It is Wednesday night that we're recording. And if you're listening after the fact, it could be Thursday morning. It could be 30. Who knows? But there's just been so much happening in my life, not least of which was that I had work last night. But here we're back. And I've got 4 big new shows to talk about and 5, count them, in my UpMolks to throw at you at the end of it. If you want to stay in touch and find out what's happening, look, all of the socials are listed on my link tree. That's linktr.ee/Steve Molk, where you can get absolutely everything that you're going to want to know about when it comes to what's happening with regard to, TV Binge Box, TV Black Box, my life, boring, lots of Lego, as you can see over my shoulder. Lego, so good. And yeah, that is my special little treat for finishing semester and doing so well. Yeah, baby. If you are paying attention, this obviously is going to go out on the TV Binge Box feed, natch. However, we're also dropping it into the TV Black Box feed, so you can keep track of it there. If you get it twice, you subscribe. I'm not going to be offended if you just scooch past it. Take the download, please. But we're just making sure that it gets out to as many people as possible, and that everyone can get involved and check it all out, and just enjoy the my glorious rantings about television, such that they are. I hope that you've had a chance to dive into the 4 big shows that I talked about last week. This week, I've got so many more to talk about, so we might as well get into it so that I don't stuff around. Friends, here's our very first one, and yeah. Now, friends, this is the 5th season of Top Gear Australia, the 3rd network that it's appeared on here in Australia. The first one, SBS, got a couple. Then 9 locked out a couple as well. And this is made by Paramount Australia. It's actually made by BBC Studios, Australia, New Zealand, for Paramount Australia, Paramount 10. So it appears on Paramount Plus. So consequently, you're going to get a couple of Channel 10 celebrities on it, in Beau Ryan and Jonathan La Paglia, who host, respectively, The Amazing Race Australia and Survivor Australia, Australian Survivor. Good on them. And then you've got to throw in someone with, let's call it car credentials, not that the other two don't have them. We'll get into that. In a guy called Blair, Moog, Joscelyne. Now, he is a YouTuber that has made quite a following for himself. I think he's got over 1 million fans on his YouTube channel. And he writes about, drives cars, does motoring things. Cool. Well done, Moog. Let's talk about the facts. So, as I said, the 5th season, there's 8 episodes been made for this season, and we are about halfway through them. It airs Fridays on Paramount Plus. It drops weekly. So the first 4 episodes are there for you already to watch. As you can see from the trailer that you watched before or spinning around now, the Stig's back. It's a female Stig. We don't know who it is. It's a female race driver. The boys got access to some pretty amazing cars. They do some crazy things. There's some overseas challenges and journeys and stuff. And look, fine, right? It's Top Gear. That's the format. The audience inserts, the parts where they're in studio, were filmed at Cockatoo Island in the middle of Sydney Harbour. And so they've had to ship all of these sexy cars and things over to Cockatoo and, of course, the audience when they did the filming to make all of that happen and set it up. It's a pretty minimalist studio, so that kind of works. It's some lights and, some truss framing and things. Great. It's just not good. And I For those that have been long-time listeners to the Black Box or Bingebox podcast, you'll know that I absolutely want to prioritise and support Australian content. The challenge for making an overseas format where the overseas format technically still exists, but has run for decades, like decades. And to have the UK hosts in Clarkson, May and Hammond be at the helm of that show for so long and really find their groove and do such a great job of it, absolutely this is going to be compared to that. It has to be. And it's not even a patch on that. Like, they do some crazy things. Beau needs to keep his clothes on. That is an understatement of what needs to happen there. But there's lots of attempts to do things the Top Gear way. And I don't know if it is production interference, network interference, and I look, that's not to cast slights, it's just what it is. Or whether it's budgetary limitations, it's not good enough. It's like if this is the Top Gear level way up here, the UK version, the Top Gear Australia version is just sort of like a good 2 or 3 steps below it. It is not, it's not delivering. It's going to all of the big places, but it's just not delivering the challenges or the interest or the stuff about it that's going to be, I guess, as good as what I want it to be. I think that's the thing. The other part of it is the 3 hosts, honestly. Now, I come into this as not a hardcore car nerd, so make of this what you will, at least for Moog, okay, for Blair. I'd never heard of the dude before this. That's cool. I've never heard of lots of people. Lots of people don't care who the shit I am, right? Whatever. As a host of his own YouTube channel, and I should have done some research to go and watch him, at least on Top Gear Australia, he's excited, but it feels forced. Like he's excited, but he doesn't want to be excited. And I don't know. Like of all of the 3, like this is an opportunity for him because it steps him out of YouTube into air quotes proper media, but he didn't need to. Out of all of them, he's probably got it. In fact, I can promise you he has a bigger audience than Beau Ryan and Jonathan La Paglia in their Australian hosted TV shows combined. If all of his million viewers watch a thing that he makes, more people watch him than watch JPL and Beau on their shows. Why did you do it? Other than a check, which I understand. But he's animated and interested and he has the car knowledge, but I just found him really flat. Then we get to JPL, who feels like he's playing a character. And that character is Jonathan La Paglia, and even he doesn't want to be there. Like, in the most recent episode, he's in LA where he normally lives and he visits Jay Leno, and that was a fine little interchange and blah, blah, blah. Well done. Great work, JPL. But he just seems completely disinterested. They also, except for Beau, who is like, we'll get to him in a second. Both Moog and JPL just seemed really disinterested. And I've talked about this show for too long already, so we need to move on. Beau Ryan shouldn't be allowed out of his house, let alone out of the country. And they let him out of the country a lot. He takes off his clothes a lot. Good on you, Beau. As comic relief, fine. But again, when he's like that little puppy that's just excitable and wants to go everywhere and do everything and all of those sorts of things. And the other 2 are the old dogs that do not care. And that's where we land. I mean, yeah, that's, if you're into it, and look, give it a swing. I may have missed the mark, missed the point totally. I've just been completely unenthused by it, but out of sheer like morbid fascination, I'm going to watch the final episodes because there's not that many left now. Paramount Plus has Top Gear Australia Season 5, 8 eps. I think we're about halfway through, so there's only 4 to go. It started and it's on Paramount Plus. They drop every Friday. Get it into you. I mean, whatever. There's some comments coming through already, and I did forget to say at the top, if you want to throw some comments in, that's great. Kyle, part of the TV Black Box team, has said, as a car buff, it really missed the mark for me. I really wanted to like this, and I thought it would be appointment viewing, but sort of forgot about it. Yeah, that's it. It's really easy to watch and go, I don't need to come back for this. Also, the Star and the Reason Plus sports car is not that dull, right? It's meant, the editing is meant to make car racing fun and interesting and exciting, and it's just not. James asks, is the Stig the OnlyFans car driver from last week? I couldn't possibly say. No one knows. Unlikely, given that her boobs aren't big enough and she's tied up with Stan. And Kyle also added, the production values are great. You can tell they've spared almost no expense with the cinematography. Yeah, there are cameras for everything on everything. But the trio don't work. That's right. They do not work together. They really should have done a whole bunch more chemistry testing or tried a few other options because it's not a thing. Too blokey, too dumbed down. It sort of feels disrespectful to the format. That, I think, is the excellent answer to what is actually the problem. It feels disrespectful, and Top Gear fans will feel unsatisfied, and people who are car heads will go, this is dumb, and everyone else will go, I don't know why I'm watching this. Top Gear Australia, friends. I mean, get into it if you want to. That said, you have to see this. I mean, wow. This documentary is just fucking weird in the best way, but wow. So Ren Faire is what it's called. It is about the biggest Renaissance if you're American, Renaissance festival in America. It's in Texas. And it was created, it is the brainchild of King George Coulam, that old guy in the doco, in the trailer. And George has a plan, and his plan is that at some point in the very near future, he's going to die. Fine. If you heard in that trailer, you heard how he would ideally want to die. Good on you, old man. And across the 3 episodes, what we see is the extensive kind of setup that this Renaissance fair has. And it is big, like to the point where he essentially is the mayor of a town in Texas, that he has bought a couple of 100 acres to create this Renaissance festival. And people come from across the country, of course, cosplaying, dressed up, having the amazing Renaissance festival time that you would expect at this kind of thing. But it is big business. It is big business. And so consequently, with George going to shuffle off his mortal coil, who takes over? And we meet the players. We meet Jeffrey Baldwin, the man who started as his entertainer, became entertainment director, is now the general manager. We meet Louie, who is, as they say, the king of corn, lord of the corn. And he is basically a vendor who wants to buy the festival from George before he dies, whereas Jeffrey hopes that he inherits it ostensibly. And then there's Darla, who's spinning around on the side. They all want this festival. They all want to be the new king. Long live the king. The king isn't dead yet. In fact, the king is weird, man. The king has some weird ideas. And across the 3 episodes, we get to hear all about not only George's plan and how he would like things to function, but of course, the 3 jockeying for position. And it doesn't go well. It just doesn't go well. And I reckon you have to watch it to believe it. It is 3 one-hour episodes, all of them on Binge right now. And it is incredible. Like, here we go. It follows an epic power struggle at the Texas Renaissance Festival after its founder announces his retirement. The festival's general manager, Jeffrey, and heir apparent faces off against the kettle corn kingpin, that's Louie, and former elephant trainer, Darla, who are all vying to reshape the festival in their own vision. Now, it's directed and produced by a documentary guy called Lance Oppenheim, who's been making these things for some time. He has quite the IMDb list. And in and of itself, you think it's weird. And look, there's parts that clearly they have filmed especially for the doco. So it's not your traditional, like, let's just watch and be an innocent bystander version of this. There are parts where they've gone, right, we want you to act like this for us. We want you to give us this footage so that we can cut it into the storytelling. I mean, and even throw into there's a character dressed as a dragon that is like a figment of Jeff's imagination that talks to him sometimes. I mean, it's that level of weird. But then it intercuts with like documentary conversation with the main players talking to the documentarian. So we get to hear their answers and responses and stuff, as much as, some of these intercut scenes, which are just stares and faces, stuff that you don't get in passing. They have to be set shots. And that's what makes it weird, to the point where I had to do some research and go, I did some research. Is this real? Like, is this just not a setup? The Texas Renaissance Fair is real, and it is absolutely George Coulam's baby. It's his thing. As for the rest of them, I cannot guarantee, other than what is purported to be in the documentary, as to who they are. But then I dug a little bit deeper, saw that one of the executive producers is a guy called Benny Safdie. Now, he's been in a few things, not least of all, recently he's been in Oppenheimer and a few other decent films. But he also co-created and starred in The Curse with Nathan Fielder. Now, that was just another weird Nathan Fielder, doco thing that a Nathan joint that he did at the start that came out at the start of this year. And like I came away from that going, it just felt weird. Benny is the documentarian in that. But he's an executive producer in this. And for mine, I think you can see his fingertips all over this. Whether it is semi-factual, whether it is entirely scripted and made up and we're all being taken for a ride and called a documentary, whether it's a mockumentary, it is 3 hours of deeply entertaining weirdness. I cannot recommend it highly enough to you. It's a big win for me. Ren Faire. All 3 eps are available right now on Binge and Foxtel On Demand, and it is a very easy watch. If you've got a Saturday afternoon to kill and you want to watch something interesting and weird, watch this. Let me know what you think because it is weird. This, however, is incredible. Like, wow. Friends, I cannot recommend this one big enough already. This is the book that became a movie and has now become a TV series. Presumed Innocent. Just incredible. Jake Gyllenhaal stars as the central character of Rusty Sabich that was played by Harrison Ford in the film of the same name. Is based on the New York Times bestselling novel by Scott Turow. This gripping series takes viewers on a journey through the horrific murder that upends the Chicago prosecuting attorney's office when one of its own is suspected of a crime. The series explores obsession, sex, politics, the power and limits of love as the accused fights to hold his family and his marriage together as all sorts of things are revealed about what plays out. If you've seen the film, there are absolutely key touch points through the process. But what I can tell you, and I haven't seen the final episode, I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, thank you, by the way. YouTube stream is back. Cool. I haven't seen the final episode, but I have seen the first 7. So I can't even spoil it for you. But what I can tell you is that there are similarities and common notes, but it is not the same thing. And in part, that is because of 2 key people that are involved in it. One, J.J. Abrams is executive producer along with a list of other people. He is good for the twists and good for the interest. And David E. Kelly is also an EP and writer on the series. And as my friend Dan Barrett pointed out, watching anything by David E. Kelly look, it can be hit or miss, but even the misses are interesting to watch. And this is no miss. This is a rock solid hit. Absolutely incredible work from David E. Kelly. It is phenomenal. I absolutely cannot recommend it highly enough. It is only 8 episodes. It is a limited series, so you're only going to get 1 season. So it's these 8 episodes. It is on Apple TV Plus. It is flipping amazing. Here's this for the cast, mate. Jake Gyllenhaal, as I said, is Rusty Sabich. His wife, Barbara, is played by Ruth Negga. His DA friend is played by Bill Camp. That's Raymond Horgan as a character. OT Fagbenle plays Nico, the opposite, the guy that wants to be the DA. You can't have a decent show these days without a Sarsgaard in it. Playing Tommy Malta is Peter Sarsgaard, and he is just the right level of creepy and awkward and brilliant. Noma Dumezweni, I've absolutely butchered that, plays the judge. So this is a big change from the film, friends. A female plays the judge. So we'll see how that lands out. Chase Infiniti, Elizabeth Marvel, Nana Mesha, Renate Rensiv, and Kingston Rumi Southwick round out the core cast. It's amazing. I could not turn away from it. Is dark. It is Chicago. It is intriguing. It is little snippets just getting dripped and dropped on you at exactly the right time so that you can, all of those sort of great moments right from the get-go, right? It is all about this case, and it is all about Rusty and Raymond trying to save Rusty's life, ostensibly, and his family and all of the revelations that come as a part of this. It's incredible. Now, the first 2 episodes dropped today, Wednesday, the 12th of June. So you can jump on, get your subscription or use up your freebie or save it until it's done and watch the first 2. And then weekly, we will get the next 6. I'm just champing at the bit to get the final one because as I said, I've seen the first 7. So many great points along the line that I do not want to anything to you, but it's all there. Wow. It's been a while, actually. Like, here's the good thing. Apple had their Worldwide Developers Conference where they promoted as a part of it. Here's all the new shows and things that are returning. Great, right? That's just basically their upfronts that they throw in at you. And there's some good stuff coming down the pipe. And there's some good stuff. People complain there's nothing good on Apple TV Plus. That is a big fat house of lies. Because there is some great stuff. There's lots of stuff. Like most streamers, there's just stuff. But there's lots of good stuff. Ted Lasso, friends, right? This is the home of Ted Lasso. This is the home of Shrinking. This is the home of Presumed Innocent. There's so many good things that you could spend a couple of good weekends just chewing through amazing TV. Just to hit you up, Christina, yes, I have watched the movie. It is similar but not same. It's based on the book, so the characters are the same. The story is ostensibly the same, but I cannot tell you that it ends the same. A, because that would be a spoiler if I did, and B, I don't know. To Apple's great wisdom, they haven't released episode 8 to critics to be able to let you know what's going on. So there we go. It's phenomenal. I would say that this is reason enough to have an Apple TV Plus subscription, but you should have one already now for Ted Lasso and the others that I talked, Shrinking and the others that I talked about. It's delightful and it's incredible and it is powerful and the performances are shocking, and very clearly Jake Gyllenhaal did this off the back of Roadhouse, the remake that he did, unnecessary remake, just by the way, of the Patrick Swayze movie of the same name, because he is cut. He is fully beefcake, and there are a couple of scenes where he does get down into a pretty tight shirt or no shirt, and it's one for the ladies in the game, man. Let me tell you, he is looking, even in his business shirt, he is looking very cut. He's doing his thing. Congratulations, by the way. Enjoy that. But it is so much better than all of that. Presumed Innocent, incredible television, amazing drama. It starts today on Apple TV Plus. And my encouragement to you is do not miss a minute. It's that good. So apparently now the YouTube stream is back. Great. I don't even know why it stopped. I'm going to have to investigate, and I'm sorry that happened. I'll leave a pause. We'll cut all this stuff out of the clips. By the way, I've thrown a whole bunch of clips across social media. Please do share them. That helps other people find the show and find the podcast and all of those sorts of things, if you take the opportunity, if you want to do that. Nonetheless. So this is the book that became a musical, that became a movie, has now become a TV series. And look, straight off the top, Ladies in Black is just lovely. It's a lovely tale, and translating it into this televised 6-episode series, I think has just added some wonderful notes and a great opportunity to explore some of the central characters a little more and their relationships. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Ladies in Black, it is 1961. It is Sydney. Girls are risking arrest to wear bikinis on the beach. Women are faking marriage certificates to get the pill. In the ladies' wear department of goods, it's all hats, gloves, and foundation garments. But for the women who serve behind the counter, the 60s are about to start swinging. The revolution in society and fashion will divide the ladies in black and threaten each of their worlds. Our central ladies, these women that are there to help the women of certainly society, because it's quite an expensive little department store, help them be unique and be special and stand up and stand out at a time when society in Australia is about to be transformed. It's 1961. It hasn't happened, but it's coming, baby. You can hear it winding up. I do love some of the stylized notes that have been brought into this. Congratulations to the team at Bunya Entertainment, who are responsible for making Ladies in Black. They've done a phenomenal job. And the episodes are directed by Gracie Otto, who does a phenomenal job. I love the use of color. I love the way they set some of the pastels, but then they take moments where they turn it into this almost surreal kind of situation. The photo shoot that you see in the trailer, where the colors are so vivid and well lit compared to the drab kind of, lovely but drab colors of goods, which really makes, of course, the Ladies in Black stand out. These wonderful shop assistants that are there to help these women just become something amazing. It is wonderful. And I particularly like that there's tension in all of it. And I know that this comes out in the book, comes out in the film, but the way that, the young girls are starting to develop and wanting to be a part of changing the society, and the older women are just wanting to make sure that they can, care for their husband and their family and stand on their own 2 feet and do all of their things, but are fighting all of the changes. This speaks about immigration. This speaks about national identity. This speaks about our relationship to Mother England. It's a story of female friendship in a time that seems alien, but is also strangely familiar. And I think that's the glory of what they've captured in Ladies in Black. And look, it's just rock solid performances from the entire cast, which, friends, is sizable. Let me hit you. Debbie Mazar, Miranda Otto, Jessica DeGao, Claire Hughes, Azizi Donnelly, Gemma Ward, Kate Box, thank you very much, Hugh Higginson, who is in everything and is like Roy Billings last week. He's in everything because he's flipping amazing. Hugh Higginson, Julian Maroon, Todd McKenney, excellent. Russell Dykstra, also excellent. Tom Green, and friends, even though she feels like she's in it for absolutely 2 seconds, this actor is the reason why you would watch anything. If you see the name, you just watch the show. Sasha Haller. Incredible. Absolutely inhabits her character in a way that I don't think you've ever seen anybody do that before. I do have one slight criticism, and please take this with a grain of salt. I felt that the exposition in the first episode was a little bit hit yourself over the head with a sledgehammer. We need to remind you it's the 1960s and women can't do that stuff. And this is how it was. And you can't things and blah, blah, blah. And it's 1961 and a woman couldn't possibly do that. I get it. I understand. Thankfully, that doesn't hang on too much into the remaining episodes. And I've seen the first 4. But, when you've only got 6 episodes to spend what felt like so much of the first episode doing that was like... It's 1961, we get it. But then I also want to acknowledge, friends, I'm 50. And while I wasn't around in 1961, I've done enough reading and seen enough shows around and understand the time. For those maybe that haven't, this is a revelation. So cool. I will say that the gentle development and the reveal of the relationships between our core ladies in black and the power of the looming revolutionary change absolutely just sits together wonderfully, ties it as much as stretches it and challenges. And that's exactly why you would want to watch Ladies in Black. Christy does ask, does it repeat the storyline of the movie or does it continue the world of the movie? I haven't seen all of it, Christy, but I can tell you that the stuff that I've seen is the core narrative through line of the book, but I think it develops the characters and some of those relationships a little more. We get to see and feel and understand a little bit more, but it is the same tale, but it's not exactly the same tale, if that makes sense. Like they kind of have to lean into that. And there's also bits that they don't lean into as much as, say, the book doesn't lean into because it's a book and we've only got 6 hours of television. That said, Ladies in Black is a delight. I absolutely commend it to you, and it starts this Sunday night on the ABC, 8:30, off the back of Spicks and Specs and Austin, which Austin I spoke about last week. You should be watching that, friends. Once the first episode airs, all 6 episodes will be available on ABC iView for you to binge at your pleasure. And I absolutely encourage you to do so because it's absolutely glorious. It's such a good look at who we are. Now, you might note, people that have been paying attention at home, I haven't talked about any Australian drama on the commercial networks because there fucking isn't any. 2024, and we're not getting any original Australian drama on the commercial networks. The only one that was going to land was going to be the next season of RFDS, and I think it's got bounced to next year by 7. I mean, come on. It's just not good enough, honestly. Ladies in Black, support the ABC, support the streamers that are making Aussie drama because it's worth it. And we need to see and hear our stories reflecting back to us so that we learn from them or that we learn about us or we learn more about who we can be. That's the most important thing for mine. Nonetheless, Ladies in Black, ABC iView starts this Sunday. Do it. In the parlance of a man who we used to love a lot that wore a special hat, do yourself a favor. Now, I did forget to say that if you comment on YouTube or Facebook, I can throw the comment feed up on here. And of course, I can talk about the comments, which is what I have been doing. Thank you so much for everybody who has been flying along. I'll throw some in for those that are listening and haven't had the chance to see it. Look, I agree. It is a who's who of Australian talent. Christy offers. That's really absolutely the situation. There's Christina talks about this looks good. If that was presumed innocent, it's bloody great, Christina. So definitely worth checking out. I do apologize again, but this is just me for the weird YouTube thing that did or didn't work, and I don't know why that is. Thank you to all of the people who are watching on Instagram, either on the TV Black Box or TV Bingebox accounts. I'm sorry that I can't see your comments. I am just going to quickly flip over here, and hopefully this doesn't kill off the thing. No, I'm back. I'm there. I'm still going. And just sort of picking up the comments. People are talking about the fact that it got dropped. Somebody's mentioned Vale John Blackman. Absolutely. And a shame that, he's passed away. Unfortunately, that was always going to be a thing. But John Blackman and Michael Mosley, two big deaths within the media industry in Australia and such that the thing. Kyle rightly points out, sorry, just to jump back to our comments, that Nine had their Blood on the Tracks drama planned for this year, also delayed. And I agree, Kyle, absolutely not good enough. I get that delays happen. Delays are a thing. But it's June, right? They should have had stuff in the can at the end of last year or finishing and in editing at the start of this year, ready to roll out for Q2, Q3, and no one's done it. They're just leaning far too heavily on there. Don't get me started. This is the Bingebox podcast. It's not TV Black Box and Molk bitching about what TV network should be doing. Whew. Send to yourselves, friends. We're about to start into our UpMolks and DownMolks. This is your opportunity to throw into the comments, what are the things that you're loving? What are the things that you watched and went, oh? And this week, what's on your pile of shame? I want to know the show that you have either watched one episode of and haven't gone back to, but still really want to, or the show that you went, yeah, I really need to watch that, and you haven't watched it. So what we want, your comments, and I'll hit them at the end of this, your pile of shame, as I step into the UpMolks and DownMolks. Oh, also feel free to throw in the shows that you're watching and loving so that other people in the community can enjoy them as well. Do that, please. This week's UpMolks and DownMolks. Now, I apologize for repeating myself because those that listen to the TV Black Box podcast will know that I have already raved about Shogun on Disney+. That's because it is brilliant. Absolutely incredible period drama based on the book of the same name, the James Clavell novel. It's just amazing. It is an exercise in reading, friends. Unless you speak Japanese, you will need to read a lot of the subtitles, but it's worth it. It is incredible, absolutely amazing drama. And so, as you would expect from me, that gets a huge UpMolk. Well done, everyone. The next show that I wanted to talk about is The Summit Season 2, ostensibly just finished on 9. Congratulations to the winners that walked away with a share of $570,000 between them. This is an original format for 9 and one that they're trying to shop overseas. Understandably, it in its second season had some very clear changes from the first season, and I'm going to say all of the changes they made thoroughly necessary and thoroughly helpful. However, my favorite thing about it was this guy, Jai Courtney, the host and actor. You might recognize him as Captain Kangaroo from one of the DC superhero bad guy films where he's one of the prisoners that anyway, that's not important. He's also a great actor. He's the host and he is like just a grumpy curmudgeon. It's so, and these are meant to be short. Sorry. I love the grumpy curmudgeon host, Jai Courtney. I did not like. Did not like The Summit. That's a big DownMolk. Unfortunately, it just was, there's too much repeating yourself, too much faux drama, and let's repeat and show the things and putting people against people, and I just was not happy. It could have been so much better and it wasn't. Sorry. That's on 9 now if you want to watch it. Don't. But if you wanted to. The Boys, Season 4 kicks off podcast time tomorrow night on Prime Video. This is just like, people complain about spandex films taking over the cinema. This is brutal. This is rude. This is hilarious. This is dark. This is fierce. This is angry. This is Trumpian society gone just feral. The Boys is a phenomenal tale. As I said, this is the 4th season landing this week. If you haven't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the basic premise is that superheroes exist and they've become part of a corporation. You know, a capitalism owns them. And is that good? You be the judge. It's not good. Absolutely incredible. I commend season 4 to you. I've seen so much of it already that I just don't want to even eke out an accidental spoiler. But it starts this Thursday on Prime Video. Huge UpMolk recommendation. Start on episode 1, season 1. If you've not seen it, you need to. Context is everything. So good. The Bad Batch season 3. This is on Disney Plus. It finished up. That was the final season. It aired this year. This has been an amazing animated connection into the Star Wars world, a bridged connection with the Clone Wars, particularly because the creator, who is also the co-creator of The Mandalorian, just dreamed up the Clone Wars, and it's phenomenal. 8-season animated series about the wars between episode 2 and episode 3 movies. And this kind of fits on the back end of that, right? The Empire have come into being. These rogue former clone troopers are out there. It's so delightful, and it's absolutely excellent Star Wars TV that you can watch with your young Star Wars fan. Or if you're an old Star Wars fan, even you can watch it. I remember watching the Clone Wars with my now 19-year-old son. He was very young. And that's almost his Star Wars. That's what he got into and got blooded on. So much so that he re-watched it before The Bad Batch kicked in. And he convinced his girlfriend to watch all 9 seasons so that it's so funny. Like, The Bad Batch, get into it. 3 seasons on Disney Plus, 9 seasons of the Clone Wars. You'll definitely want to do that. No surprises again from this huge Star Wars nerd, can you tell? A huge UpMolk. Now, our final for this week, Icons Unearthed. The Lord of the Rings. The one ring to rule them all, and in the darkness bind them. This is about, as you would expect, the making of the Lord of the Rings films under Peter Jackson and his partner Fran and that whole conglomerate, and the effort that they went to make the films and to make them back to back and to even get them on the screen was an incredible story. It is a 6-episode series. It's on SBS On Demand, running Saturday nights on SBS Viceland. If you want to get involved and check it out. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, it's a must watch. And if you're not, it's actually really interesting. And it turns out this is like the 7th season of Icons Unearthed. They've done a whole bunch of other seasons on a whole bunch of other movies that you went, oh, wow, I didn't know that about it. I never knew this. Something else. Absolutely unsurprisingly, a huge UpMolk from me. I cannot recommend Icons Unearthed, The Lord of the Rings to you highly enough. It absolutely has been my company as I've been building Sauron's tower out of Lego, the combination of my loves. It's just been great. It's just been so great. So much good TV, friends. Let's have a look at what you've been watching on and that everyone has been enjoying. Look, here we go. Dylan Joel says Spicks and Specs was great this week. Yeah, welcome return from Miff Allen and Adam. Austin was okay, but slow burn. Look, I agree, but hang in there because it just is super good, super fun. Anthony talks about he's watching Conan O'Brien Must Go. That's on Binge. And I agree, Anthony, it's really fun. Conan's just an idiot overseas. It's super, super good. Christina, can I get anyone else to watch Tokyo Vice? No. But good luck. Have a good go. Loving it despite having to get it through nefarious means. That's probably why you're having trouble. Pile of shames. I did say who we're getting into. Dylan has mentioned that his pile of shame is Stateless. The partner said one, it was enough for the night, but we never went back to it. I commend it to you. It is hard going. Totally worth it. Incredible performances. Kyle loved Shogun. Yes, there has to be more, Kyle, because we didn't see that big final chapter battle. So there's lots more to come from Shogun. Christy, watched Hacks. I hope it's the latest season, Christy. Loved it. Yes, it has been very, very good. Also was watching, got hit with an ad on TikTok by Binge with a clip from the 2000 movie Best in Show. So funny. Yeah, brilliant. Like if you want mockumentary, Best in Show, Spinal Tap, what is it? The one about the folk singers. The Wind Blows or whatever it is. I can't recall. It's, all of those things are bloody great. Christina's gagging for the boys as she should be. How to Rob a Bank on Netflix was a good watch for Kyle. And speaking of Star Wars, does anyone have feedback on The Acolyte? Look, Christina, there is feedback, and the feedback is that I'm going to be putting it into the TV binge box in a couple of weeks' time. But I have watched the first 2 episodes. The third one is coming shortly, and mwah is the short answer. But it tells an incredible, like a long time ago, like not the long time ago tale, and it's brilliant. It is super, super good, but it could take a nasty turn. It's not going to. It could take a nasty turn. Friends, that's the TV binge box for another week. I've got to get out of your ear holes and your face holes so that you can go and watch some TV. But I thought I would throw this in at you so that you can prepare. If you want to get involved and join in the conversation more easily next week. These are the shows. These are the 4 shows that I'm going to talk about as our highlight shows in episode 3 of this season's TV binge box. After the Party, which is right now on ABC iView, all 6 episodes. House of the Dragon season 2, which launches next week. I'm going to talk about that. That's on Binge. Exposure, which is one that you won't be able to see because I've got previews and it doesn't launch until the 20th of June. That's on Stan. But this is their big new thriller, uber weird, creepy drama that they've been sizzling. So that'll be good to talk about. One that you can watch and join in on the fun, Taskmaster Australia season 2. That's airing Thursday nights, 7:30 on 10. Watch and enjoy. Would love your feedback. Absolutely have been enjoying this. Thank you for putting up with my move to Wednesdays. The good news is it's going back to Tuesday night next week. Oh, my calendar is a omni-shambles. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock next week, whatever the date that is. By my math, I think it's the 19th of June. Please do join us. If you don't care to watch it live, that's okay. I'm going to podcast it in the usual place. And of course, you can watch it on the tvblackbox.com.au website. You can listen to it in your ear holes. And it's even going to go on the TV Black Box feed. Maybe you're listening to it from there. Hope you can join us. Thank you for those that joined us on YouTube and Facebook. Sorry about the YouTube glitch. I'll make sure that doesn't work for next week. Also, thank you to everyone that has joined us on Instagram. It's been wonderful. But nonetheless, we're still rocking along. And as best I can tell, YouTube is still running. Hopefully, no one's killed me yet. Who even knows? Friends, that has been the TV Binge Box for another week. Thank you. It's time to get out of here. It's almost growing time for those of you in South Australia because we're well past it on the East Coast. Nonetheless, enjoy yourselves. And look, I've been Molk, TV Binge Box, Linktree/Steve Molk for all of the information. Let's get out of here. Bye.